What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Bart, and I am at a really, really good store with really good people. And you know, every time I come to these stores, I always tell you about what's going on at the store and how many cars they're selling, but I started to really think about everything that happens in any business revolves around people, right? And everybody has a story. And I like to look at the different stories of the people that are struggling, because I'm kind of attracted to helping the broken out, but also the superstars that came from nothing and went to another level. So there's a lot of, what's cool about this store is there's a lot of stories here. But this particular individual that I'm going to introduce you to is, and I think I'm going to do this every week, as a matter of fact, come up with somebody who just really inspires me personally. And I've got to tell you, this gentleman absolutely has inspired me. This is Jorge. Jorge is a director of finance at Kersey Chrysler Jeep Dodge. We're in Mesa, Arizona. Just an incredible guy with an incredible story. And I want to share it with you because if you're just starting out in this business, this will give you the inspiration and motivation to say, Bart doesn't just say that. Somebody else doesn't just say that. I'm hearing it right from somebody who's had great success. So Jorge, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
How you doing?
Tell us a little bit about where you're at right now and what you do, and a little bit about your team.
Absolutely. So, like you mentioned before, you run the finance department here at Courtesy. We have a great team. We have 5 guys that are phenomenal. And I believe that the reason why we are where we are is because of them as human beings and not as finance people.
Oh, interesting.
And I try to talk to them in a way that's gonna get the best out of them, not grinding them into what's your numbers and what's this and what's that, but just try to get the best out of everybody. And they're superstars, and all you gotta do is just let them run.
Right on. That's so interesting. John Maxwell wrote a book. You know about it. We talked about it yesterday. Everybody communicates, few connect. And I believe the industry really needs to hear that. It's about connecting. And that's what I'm hearing you say.
Absolutely.
You do great numbers. By the way, this is a dealer group, and this particular department does #1 in the whole dealer group in terms of F&I. And we're not going to brag on the numbers, but let me tell you, they're some of the best I've seen in the industry. They are rock star numbers.
Thank you.
So it's really interesting to see. So tell me a little bit about how do you get here? How do you get in this leadership role? Tell us a little bit about your history.
So I was born in Peru, South America. I came to the U.S. when I was 19. And at 19 years old, I didn't speak English. I still don't speak it very well.
Better than me, but you know, that's...
I got in the car business at 21. At 21 years old, I was a lot attendant. I got fired as a lot attendant, and they told me I wasn't cut out for the business. So right after that, I walked to the next dealership and I started selling cars, and I found some great people. That's one thing I've always done is I try to learn from people that are willing to teach me, and I always value that more than the bonus paycheck or whatever. I remember telling one of my GMs one time, I hit a number and I said, listen, I don't want you to give me a bonus, I want you to give me your time. Because it's a guy that I really, really value. And I said, give me 5 minutes of your time every other day that I can sit with you, because I know you're a busy guy, and hold your $500 check, but give me that time. He goes, done. I learned more from that guy in 2 years that any check would have ever done for me.
Interesting. Who does that? Knowledge is power, right? Especially if it's the right knowledge. And that's an incredible story. And something else you told me yesterday that just sparked me, which really intrigued me to have this little interview, was that when you had heard somebody talk about goals and you made a decision, tell us that pattern you told me about.
So 2005, about 14 years ago, I was working at the Chevy store across the street here, and my director at the time said, you guys got to come up with some goals for the month. You got to put it all in writing, and you're going to do some goals. And I was brand new to finance there. I was just 6 months in. And one of the guys gave me a CD from this guy named Brian Tracy. And he was on how to set goals. And I said, okay, so I put it on my car on the way home. I listened to it, and I was amazed at what I was hearing. But of course, I didn't do it the next day. I heard about it one day, and then I put it aside, and then about a month and a half later, I was washing the vehicle, and then I found it and I put it again, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And after that, I started listening to it a little bit more, and then I got into self-development and personal motivation and all that, and I started listening to a bunch of people, including John Maxwell and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and Tony Robbins and Eric Thomas, and it's something that I really don't understand how somebody can listen to that and not want to listen to it every day. So it's now been 14 years. I listen to it every day. I listen to something for about 30 minutes every day, and my team knows it because I always talk about it. And it's changed my life. Completely changed my life. Back in those days, I was making, struggling. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was not doing very good, and the change has been incredible. And it's all about self-development. When I go 2 or 3 days without listening to something, I'm missing something. And I think it's just a life change.
Yeah. What's interesting, remember now, came to the United States at 19, didn't speak English, director of a huge department. You can guess what kind of money he makes. Now tell us a little bit about your other stuff that you've got going on, because that's what's so cool too, that everything in this business is a step to where you are, and this step goes somewhere else. And yet you have enough time in your life to spend time at your church, and you've got some businesses. Tell us a little bit about that.
So one of my goals, I always talk to my wife about this, is one of my goals is to have somebody, whoever's doing it, stop signing my paycheck as soon as possible. So I don't want anybody to sign a paycheck for me anymore, which means I want to be independently wealthy, as you can call it. I want to be able to do this because I want to do it and I like to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do it because if I don't get up and change and come to work, I don't have a paycheck. So I work for somebody that if I don't give them my time, they don't give me their paycheck. I want to be able to do what I do because I like to do it and I want to do it whenever I want to do it. So a couple years ago, with the help of, people like John Maxwell and Tony Robbins and everybody that I listen to, I started setting some goals into having some passive income. So we bought into a business. So we own a restaurant now for a few years, and then a couple years later we did another business, and now we own a hair salon. And so now we have 2 businesses on the side. The interesting thing is that since I've done this, I did not lose 1 hour at what I do here. So if anything, I'm more passionate and I'm doing better and I'm pushing myself more here than before I had those businesses.
So what you said yesterday, and I love this, I love the words max cap, because you mentioned that a couple times yesterday. I've increased my capacity, a capacity you didn't even know you had, but you knew what you wanted, and you knew why you wanted it, and you didn't know how you were gonna do it, but you kept doing it. Now you've got a Bible study, you've got a wife who just got her master's in psychology, who doesn't have to work but wants to, and you've got your 2 businesses, and how many kiddos?
3.
Max cap, and you aren't even near your max cap.
No, it's all about not just, the fact that you're busy doesn't mean you're being productive. So it's about being, 10 years ago, if you told me you're gonna be doing this at church for 15 hours a week and running 2 businesses and working 70 hours a week at work, I would have been like, you're crazy, I'll never do that, I can't do that. But the reason I'm doing it is because every step I take, I understand that if I don't increase my capacity, I will never be able to do it. How does people like John Maxwell run a business that's all over the world, overseeing 10,000 people? I don't understand it, but I'm not there yet. He understands it. I don't have to understand it because I'm not him, right? How does Tony Robbins run 43 companies? I don't know how. I know how I'm doing what I'm doing now, but I'm not even at full capacity, but I have to increase my capacity as I go, because Jorge from 10 years ago did not understand how I will be doing what I'm doing now, and it's all because of self-development and just
Beautiful.
helping people. I
So
guess.
well said. Thank you, man.
You know, there's a point here as we land this, and we said it a little bit ago. We have to know what we want, what we want, what we want. You have to be very selfish about that. Would you agree? You knew when it finally hit you, and I love the fact that you said I listened to them, they were cool, but I didn't do anything about it. And he told me yesterday, I listened to him again, didn't do anything about it. Listened to him again, didn't do anything. And then one day, he did something. Oh my gosh, here he is, right?
Yeah.
But what you want is key. But the thing that has to attach to that is why we want what we want, correct?
Exactly.
Because if you know why you want, the how shows up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
You didn't know how. You don't know how John actually leads 30,000 people. You don't know how. But you know if that's what you want and why you want it, the how will show up.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being our inspiring leader of
Thank
the
you.
week. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you
and
for
I
your
appreciate
time.
our new friendship. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you, and we'll talk to you. Take care.